Hello my friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Severiano Paoli and we're gonna talk about the double bass. I know. It's been a long time since my last video. I know you guys have missed me. At least I hope. But a lot of things have been going on in my life. All beautiful things, including a new lovely house where I've just moved in with some more space and a nice bass studio. As you can see, my cameraman skills have not improved at all, so you know this video is authentic. Today, we're gonna talk about a device that each bassist has encountered at least once in his lifetime, and that's a mute. What is a mute? A mute is a device that you use on your instrument in order to decrease its volume, so make it sound less, but also in order to modify its tone color in a way that's actually the most important application of the mute. Composers throughout history have used mutes in order to get special effects, in order to broaden their expressive palette. Mutes come in all fashions and shape. Today we're gonna test a couple of them, the ones I own at least, and see the difference among them. I don't think there is a better or a worse mute, though I do have my preference, at least for my own instruments and for my own taste, but there's many of them, and I think it's important for us bassists to know about them and to use the right one in the right situation. Also, mutes are relatively inexpensive, so what I suggest to everyone is to buy a couple of them, different types, and find out what works best for him. By the way, we are not gonna talk about this one. This is a practice mute. I'm just gonna show you very quickly. Practice mute, you put it like this on your bridge, like any other mute. As you can see, it's very bulky, very heavy, and without the mute, this is how the instrument sounds. With the mute, gets like this. A practice mute reduces the volume by a lot, but as the name says, it is meant for practicing. So that's what you would use in your apartment if you don't want to disturb your neighbors, or in a hotel, all situations where you don't want to be heard too much, but it's not something you would use on stage. So I just show it to you just to be complete, but today, this is not the topic of today. So let's start our journey throughout the world of mutes. In the second part of this video, you will see in a row a series of clips of me playing the same passages with various mutes, so that you can have an idea of the difference in sound, the difference in tone. Mute number one is this one. I think every bassist who's ever played in an orchestra owns at least one or more. I've got 5 or 6 of these ones. This is the unbranded version that's only written USA on it. There's also one that's called with Tourt written on it. It's a bit more rigid than this one. This is really the mute that you will see 90% of the times. It is very effective. It is extremely cheap. It just gets the job done. It's not necessarily the best sounding, but you can rely on this one. And it's also very handy for the way you put it on your bass. Let me show it to you. So, let's see if I find the right angle. Yeah. So, you take the mute like this. You pass it between the strings. And there you have it on the bass. The moment you want to take it off, you just let it go down the strings like this. What's cool is that when you're playing, you're like put the mute on, you keep going, you keep doing your thing, and then just need this and the mute goes down. That's why this is an all-time favorite by orchestral musicians who were the ones who used mutes the most. This mute generally cost, now I have had this for a while, but around maybe 10 euros, 10, 15, something like this. So it's very cheap. And I suggest everyone to buy a couple of them just to keep them in the bow case or in their various bases on each base, because there will always be a day where you need to use a mute, or the day where you want to experiment with it. This is by far the cheapest and the most widely used. A variation on the previous one is this one, this triangular mute. There's written Polly Basso on it. I've had this one for quite a couple of years. I bought it I ordered it from the US. About this one, I have to say, I've got sort of a love-hate relationship, because it does work on some of my basses. On some it does not. It's in a way a mute that works on lighter basses, on basses with heavy strings or larger instrument. It tends to work less. Its action is a lot more subtle than the previous one. It has a nice tone, so I would definitely use it if I'm looking for a special color. It's not the one I would use in the orchestra, because it does not damp enough. It does not dampen the sound enough for my own taste and for my own basses, at least. The way to apply is exactly the same as the previous one. So you put it like this. What is nice is that it's really stable. It stays very, very well against the bridge, and it's also very silent. It's a lot more silent to operate than the previous one. It slides, but in a more tight manner, you see. And if it works well with your bass, this is really nice, because in orchestra you will make no noise whatsoever, and it's easy to use. So anyway, you will hear in the clip how it sounds, so up to you to decide. If you are a traditionalist, this is what you're looking for. An ebony mute, a wooden mute, like back in the days. If you think about the symbols that we use on sheet music when we need to apply or remove the mute, this and this, well, they come from this one, like this and like this. This mute works like this. You take it and you put it on the bridge like that. You play, and then you need to take it off. So I don't have a bow in my hand, so this is quite easy to do, but as you notice, it's a bit more funky as a movement. So it's not as handy as the previous ones. I will just stick to the strings, just stay on the strings. But sound quality wise, I personally find this to be much better than the previous ones. This is a mute I will use a lot on recordings, because on recordings I generally don't need to rush to put up and down the mute, have the time to do that. So on some recordings I've done with my orchestra, I have used this because I really like the sound of it, and I find this type of mute to be unbeatable in general. But it's a bit, life is made of compromises, so you have to see what works best for you. This costs significantly more than the previous one because it's a solid piece of ebony, and it needs to be adjusted inside to fit your bridge. When you get it, it's a bit rough, and then you need to either trim it or have a luthier to trim it for you. Sound-wise, I repeat, this is really excellent, but it has the downside of all the funkiness of application. So again, pros and cons. You have to find the right situation for this. Last but not least, these two wonderful leather mutes that I got from my friend Maren Rek from Sweden. Many of you will probably know her. She's the inventor with her partner of the Rosin Saver, and I really love these two mutes. So you apply them like the ebony one, the one I just showed you. So let me show you with one. Like this. Being made of leather, it fits a lot more smoothly. You don't need to adjust it in any way. will just fit on most bridges, and this likewise is a bit heavier. I personally find these two mutes to be the best ones I've got, sound-wise, damping-wise. I really love this product. Again, yeah, the downside is that you need to put them up, put them down. It's not as comfortable as the sliding ones, as the simple one, let's say. So in certain situations, in a situation where I need to be quick with that, I would probably use the other ones. But sound-wise, these ones, in my opinion, are unbeatable. I love using them, and since I got them, they've become my main mutes, at least in recordings and in situations where I'm really looking for a special sound. But now, after all this talking, it's about time to hear how these mutes sound. I'm going to play them in a row, always the same passage, and you will decide what works best. So my friends, thank you so much for following me in this journey throughout the world of mutes. It's, a niche topic, but something that, in my opinion, is very interesting for us bass players, and I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, because at least that's something that's always interested me, and I hope you find it interesting as well. Anyway, thank you so much for being here again after all this time. I promise I won't be so sloppy with making videos again, and that you will see me more often. So thank you so much, my friend. See you next time. Ciao.